Hello, everybody. I am going to be doing a video debrief of the article Are Calculators a Crutch? In this article, Uskin stated calculators were sometimes used as a crutch. A crutch could be helpful depending on how it was used, which he makes an interesting gives us an interesting perspective on that. There was a concern that students who use calculators without knowing arithmetic might never learn it. Another concern was that machines or calculators could stop working, but this should not prevent students from using them. Calculators were meant to help students solve problems, not replace learning arithmetic. Uskin stated that the Crutch premise stated that if students use a calculator for problems they could do by hand, they would not be able to do arithmetic without it. And so many oftentimes, like I relate that to working in a grocery store where employees are taught to be able to calculate things by hand just in case the machine stopped working. But just because a student uses a calculator by hand does not mean that they cannot do the arithmetic. And then he makes an example of how a crutch could be helpful. A crutch could help an injured person, or a cash register helps a store by making work faster and more accurate. So if you would imagine being in a grocery store and uh, somebody's using a handheld calculator, paper to pencil to calculate everything, that would take forever. So that's how a cash register is helpful um, with making purchases faster. But there was a concern that Uskin noted that a lot of people may use this as a way to support why calculators could be used as a crutch, is that the battery may run out, leaving the student confused or not knowing what to do. He cautioned that this should not be used to support the fact that calculators should not be used due to uh, that being a single isolated incident. In the real world, if a machine is broken, it would be fixed or replaced. So calculator failures should not stop students from using them because that's an issue where the student needs to make sure that the calculator is charged, or they can just make sure that they have an extra spare. Uskin suggested that calculators should not be excluded from remedial classes. For some students, a calculator was the only way to get the right answer. And unfortunately, with me being in middle grade, some students definitely need the calculator to get the right answer because, again, they may struggle with recalling facts, or they may struggle with arithmetic and getting the answer faster. So the calculator is kind of like a catalyst or a tool that is used to help them get the answer faster and more accurately. Calculators were meant to help students use arithmetic to solve problems and answer questions, not to stop learning. So Uskin concluded that a calculator should be used as an aid, and I like the way how he rephrased it because a lot of times teachers will say that the calculator is a crutch or the students aren't doing the work when actually they are doing the work. They're just using that calculator for computation purposes to solve the problem, answer questions, because the students still have to have a conceptual understanding and knowledge on what it is that they're doing, because the calculator can only do so much if you don't have an understanding of what it is that you're trying to, whatever it is that you're trying to solve. So, as far as when it comes down to the calculator, it's a tool that should be used to help students and not used as a crutch. And as far as them using, discouraging them from using them in remedial classes, they still should also be used in remedial classes, again, to help strengthen their ability to solve problems. Overall, I really enjoyed reading this article. It was very interesting because this is something that is controversial, but with reading this article, it definitely changed my perspective. And I think Uskin did a good job of reframing or shaping a lot of teachers' perspective on the usage of calculators. And I really enjoyed reading this article, and I hope you enjoyed listening as well.